right, let's go. Good morning. Welcome to the Inside Job Healed Inside Out podcast. This morning we have Miss Shirley Bennett. Thank you all for being here and being with us this morning. Today we're going to talk about
a miracle.
A miracle. That's what you want to call it, is a miracle. Absolutely. Just a little backstory, and I'll let Miss Shirley introduce herself some more and talk about it. But I'm going to tell a story about how the very first interaction me and Shirley had. I don't know if you remember it, on the train platform. I was going through a divorce, and I had on my headset, and I was standing in the back, just kind of like singing low at the time, what I thought, because I was just in worship, trying to just get through the day so that I could get to work and deal with the folks that I had to deal with. And I remember, I was just kind of like humming at first, and then I don't know, just started singing. I was listening to Yolanda Adams, and I'll never forget it, because I was like, what was that song? Oh, I was like, alone in the room, it's just me and you. And I was just like, I'm so afraid, I don't know what to do. And Miss Shirley walked over to me, and she was like, I don't know exactly what you're going through, but you stay in worship, you stay there, because that blessed me too. And I was just like, okay. And so from that point on, what I felt is when our spiritual connection started. And then as we talked more, because at that time, Shirley, I didn't know that you worked in the same establishment that I did. And once we started talking some more, and then started coming out and found out we ended up working in the same establishment. And then, though, you think that a friendship or a relationship sometimes has to evolve going out to lunch all the time and all of that. We didn't do so much that, but having a spiritual connection, man, that thing is thick as Teflon. So that's stronger to me. And so I appreciate that friendship. And so from there, it just evolved. And then Shirley, she'll tell her story. I seen it on the news. Her story was on the news. And I remember I was downstairs in my living room watching TV, and I remember falling to my knees and praying, because I was like, no, not Shirley. Not Shirley. And so I'm grateful to be in your presence. And I believe once you tell your story, they'll understand why it's an honor and a blessing to be here. So thank you, Shirley.
Thank you so much. One of the things you said is it's important today, probably more than ever before, that we have connections with people.
Absolutely.
Everyone now is so afraid. Don't say nothing to anybody. Don't talk to anybody. Don't sit behind anybody. And I'm known, I will talk to anybody and everybody in the grocery store, wherever I run into people, because people are in need of love.
Absolutely.
And everything. And we've let fear stop us. I'm not going to ask you for your name, your address, your social security number. You're not going to ask me for mine. But we need to reach out and love. And in being believers, we need to iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
And we make that connection, but sometimes we're afraid to move on that connection. And again, with you, or you see people sometimes, it doesn't have to be a big sermon. It doesn't have to be quoting lots of Bible scriptures. I can just look at you and say, girl, hold your head up. It's going to be all right.
That's exactly what you did, too.
God's got it in his hands and everything. You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Let me pray for you. I pray for people in the store, the grocery store, and everybody's looking at you. But what was really funny, a couple of weeks ago, I was in King Supers, and this woman, she was just really troubled. And just like you, I walked over to her and said, honey, what's wrong? Tears in her eyes. She told we prayed. I'm getting ready to leave, and there's like 5 or 6 people in the grocery store talking about, could you pray for me? Could you pray for me? Could you pray for me?
Absolutely.
And last week I ran into one of the people that I prayed for, and they said, you prayed and everything turned around.
Yes.
Don't give me any honor and glory. That's what God can do in your life too.
Absolutely.
I have no more power than anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm originally from West Virginia. Good place to be from. Almost, John Denver said almost heaven, West Virginia. No. But anyway, One of the things my father taught me in praying from the time we were little, he said there's only 2 prayers you have to pray your whole life, and God will be there for you. Number 1 is help God, help Jesus, help, just help. He said that the second prayer you only have to pray is thank you.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you just keep it simple. Don't make it complicated. Don't make it difficult. You don't have to read 1,000 books and go to 1,000 seminaries and do it this way and do it this way, because he's concerned about us. And I know that he's concerned about the things that concerneth me. He's concerned about my health, my wealth, your well-being, your family, and everything. Absolutely. And we need to go back to that.
Yeah. And you know what? I think a lot of times people think that you do have to do more. Because sometimes, look, he even hears us in our silence.
Right.
We don't, we can just say help or thank you. But even in those times that we can't, when we're just full of tears and you know, you're on the ground or whatever, and you can't say nothing. He's always there, and so he knows. Me that day, I was doing it through song. Right. You know, I was crying out that day. I had woke up just unresolved. Right. I was unbalanced. Right. And so I knew that however I was gonna get that peace, I was just gonna have to keep reaching for it. And I didn't say nothing other than he knew. I was crying out for that on that day, and so that's true. Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about your story.
My story. Ooh, what a story.
Yes, ma'am.
What a blessing, what a miracle.
Yes.
I was planning on leaving the country, going out. So I went to the doctor the Friday before this incident occurred. Okay. Because I need to get the next prescription, make sure I'm okay and whatever, and I'd be doing a lot of walking. My doctor said, girl, you're good. You're fine, you're healthy, you're always a miracle, good to see you, whatever. I'll see you in 6 months when you get back. Monday, I had to get up and go to jury duty. All that weekend, I felt perfectly fine, did all my errands and everything. Friday, got up to go to jury duty. I'm just going to confess, I hate jury duty. I don't want to go to jury duty. Then I get this thing like, what if I convict the wrong person and they were innocent? And oh my God, they need to come up with a better system other than jury duty. Why don't they get a bunch of people who like jury duty and just have them come? That was my thing. I really don't want to go. Well, I got up, was driving. I know where the Arapahoe County Justice Center is. I couldn't find it. I'm driving up and down Arapahoe Road like, what is going on here? Finally I found it and got there. And you sit there forever and ever and ever, and they call you in and then they let you go, whatever. And I said, oh God, they're going, I got religious. In Jesus' name, please let me go so I can go home. I got things I need to do.
Start thinking of excuses like, let me just say this and maybe I'll get out.
I got there and they got down to, they need one more person. I said, I know I'm out of here. They said, Shirley Bennett. Or they give you a number, but you know. So they're like, okay. So I'm getting the jury duty while I'm here. Go. We were sitting on the side where they have, you know, the jurors set. And the judge at that time said, we're going to take a 15-minute break, recess, or whatever. They were passing papers back. I remember standing up, walking down the 3 steps, walking to the door. I remember nothing else.
My God.
This is what I have a report and what people told me had happened at that point. The sheriff there, the bailiff in the room, began CPR. Okay. Then another officer came and assisted him. This is the details. God is sometimes in the details.
Yes, ma'am.
They were doing CPR. He said about 10 minutes, and he said, she's not going to make it. But one of the sheriffs said, I wasn't going to let you die. He said, you're going to make it. They usually do CPR. I used to teach CPR, 7 to 10 minutes. Right. And after that, yeah. Bye, you're gone. They did CPR for over 30 minutes. There was a doctor there who's now the district attorney. He was a doctor. He stopped practicing medicine, went back to law school, is now the district attorney. So there was a doctor there as well. They did CPR. I had no pulse. I was dead.
Gone.
And to be absent from the body is to be present with the
Come
Lord.
on.
And again, I didn't see Jesus. I didn't see the bright light. I didn't run or walk towards the bright light. I was in the arms of Jesus where he took care of me. People,
amen.
did you pray? No. How am I going to pray? I'm unconscious and gone. But I always tell people this. We pray, and other people pray for it. This is my vision. It's like putting it in a bank account. And when you need it, it's like you need money. I don't have any money. You can go to the bank and get that. I couldn't pray, but the Spirit was praying for me. Jesus was interceding for me. And not just at that particular day. I got family and friends and people call, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. So he knew when I would need that.
Yes.
So they did everything that they could try to do there. And then this is another, how God is in the details. There was the emergency response people with the ambulance and everything. They came to see me in the hospital and they said, we were going to take our break, but they parked right in front of the Justice Center.
Come on.
And so they ran in and got me. They had to resuscitate me again. They got me to the hospital. They had to resuscitate me again.
So you pretty much died
I was
three
taken
times.
3 times. That's what in the report that I had said. You died 3 times.
And she's sitting here with us, y'all.
That's it.
She's sitting here with us after 30 minutes.
But that's not all of it.
Well, we
About the
listening.
goodness of God. You got there. I almost had to tell them, do not let another nurse, doctor, paramedic, and whatever. The story kind of spread through the hospital. And even some nursing students who are just starting witnessed what they did in the emergency room. They came to see me and they said, can we touch? We don't believe you're alive. You can't.
Yeah.
I got so tired of people telling me I can't be alive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at you. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right
Pinch
here.
me, somebody, please.
Whatever. And they said, we have never seen anything like it. And I don't want to get religious, but you don't know the God that I know and the God I serve.
Come on.
He's able to do all things and nothing's
exceedingly
impossible.
abundantly.
And there's nothing too hard for him.
Yes.
And we get away from that. Sure, I get in doubt and unbelief sometimes.
Yes.
And fear tries to come up on you, but you know the word and stand in the word and pray and believe God.
Yeah.
It has to flee from me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this morning, like I told you, I'm getting ready to drive here, and I hear in my head, your car is not going to start. Well, I knew that wasn't from God.
Still trying to stop.
But my plan B was, I know Uber.
Yeah.
I can go ask one of my neighbors and whatever. You don't give in to that.
Yeah.
So I woke up 5 days later, and I was on a ventilator. And they had said, when I fell, I hit my head on the marble floor and had a brain bleed.
Oh.
And it's like, okay. I didn't know anything about it. So had a brain bleed. So they kept saying, oh, the negative, not negative. If it bleeds any more, it bleeds this and whatever. Okay. Then the doctors came in. They said, so a certain time you were without oxygen and other things. If you were, quote, quote, alive, you should be brain dead.
Right.
You should have brain injury.
Right.
You shouldn't be able to remember anything. I went to the doctor last week and they put you through all these neurological tests, pushing and moving and closing your eyes and touching your nose. This woman said, what are you doing here? She said, my young normal patients can't do all the things you can do. And she said, you have so much strength in your, I wonder, they asked you to push. This woman said, you almost pushed me over. What are you doing here? I said, they said I had a brain bleed. And so they weren't supposed to, but one of the ladies was not. She said, look at this picture. She said, your brain bleed, it stopped. It's not growing or anything. Now I'm going to step out on faith. When I go for the next test, I just want to go down to see what they're going to say. God has just got me like, okay, let me see what you I want to go where they're going to say, we can't find it. That's what I'm believing. We can't find it. We know it was there. We got all the x-rays and the CAT scan. It's not there. Okay? That's not all the story. When I fell, falling is a terrible thing. I damaged my kidney.
Oh, wow.
I was on kidney dialysis. They had to put me on for 4 days. Then they came on and they said, you don't need kidney dialysis. We don't know what happened. That's what the doctor said. We don't know what happened. You're not supposed to know what happened. But anyway, so they let me come home. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. They let me come home. I think I've had every test that there is. I say they were looking for something.
Yeah.
You know, they said, we don't know what caused this. We don't know what triggered this. And they said, now what are you going to do now that you're okay, you're feeling okay, whatever. Go on and live my best life and do what I know I need to do and be about the things I need to be about. Yes. And if nothing else, encourage or lift somebody up who's sick. And I tell you, I go to the doctor, you look, thank you, whatever. But you can't always believe their report. Whose report will you believe? I'm in pain, but whose report will you believe? That's not the end of the story. I had broken ribs and bruises. I was bruised from here to here. My shirt's black. If I took the shirt off, this is how my chest and everything looked. But I did CPR, and I know. And I laughed because the guy who did CPR on me initially, you need to be strong. He was about 6'6", 6'7", and about a good 285 or 90 pounds.
He was on there.
And I used to tell people, when you do ribs, you're going to hear snap, crackle, pop if you do it. That has probably been the worst thing. And now it's pretty much all gone. You know, it hurts a little bit if I turn or whatever. And I see it as a miracle. When I went to see my doctor after I got home, my personal doctor, he had some of the people to come in from his staff. They had saw it on TV. And he had called the hospital, and he said, I cannot believe that I'm looking at you right now. I'm seeing you right now. And everybody, let me touch you, let me touch you, let me touch you. Then the next question, did you see the bright light? No, I didn't see a bright light, didn't see a dark light, didn't see any kind of light. But I know this, God was with me. Jesus was with me the whole time.
Amen.
You know, it's just like we're going through situation problem. Nobody cares, nobody's around, and this and that. Sometimes we have to learn to seek Him on our own and for ourselves. It's not like you can't ask everybody in your church to pray for you. Well, you can, but you know. I'm always like, I want you to pray, then you walk over to this next one. Sometimes, like I said, your prayers are stored up for such a time as this. Another thing my dad taught us when we were little, and my family, we all pray this. Lord, keep us safe from hurt, harm, and danger, both seen and unseen. You didn't know. Did you think that day I was feeling fine and whatever, that this would even happen to me? Not that it couldn't happen to anybody else, but this happened to me, and I lived to tell about it. And God, and I don't realize how many people watch TV. Strangers, you know, you're like, what you coming up to everybody for? We saw you on TV. We saw you on TV. And the other day I laughed. There's a little guy who's homeless and lives and stands at the McDonald's that I go to, and he says, I was sitting in some place. It's a shelter. He said the TV was on, and I saw you. He said, you're the lady who buys me coffee when I come. And he said, I'm so glad you're here. So if nothing else, God has me here to go buy him a cup of coffee every now and then. I think many times we focus on doing the big things. But he said, if you give a cup of water in his name, you've done it unto them. And like, oh, well, when I get $1 million, I'll do this. And when I have Oprah's money. Now, and I'm a person who smiles. People are like, I've had people, why are you smiling all the time? I just am happy. I have what I call, this is just me. And people around me know, I have something I call the gift of joy. That was given to me from the time I was a little girl. I mean, it's not like you're oblivious to problems and situations and where you work your state up in a mind of positive thinking only. That sometimes things God would just give me joy about. And not only but joy, it kind of spreads, you know, to other people. I was in Walgreens the other day, and there was a little old lady. And she was standing there, and she was dressed really, really nice. And I said, God, you look beautiful today. She goes, well, thank you. But then there's more to the story on that. I told her, I said, it's a nice day. What are you doing out today? Which was none of my business. She says, I had to come pick up a prescription. And today is my birthday. I said, oh, really? Then she told me about her husband passed away from COVID and all of that. I was walking, getting ready to leave. Something said, turn around. I went back. You don't want me to sing. I cannot sing. You have a beautiful voice. I started singing happy birthday to it in my room. Next thing you know, the pharmacists were singing happy birthday, and people came around. There was about 8 or 9 of we were all singing happy birthday to her. She said, this is the best birthday I've ever had. She says, I felt today forgotten, alone, and sad because we all are isolated in our rural areas. And COVID didn't help. Right. And to bring that joy to her. Now, I'm not saying God kept me here to sing happy birthday to her, but he got the glory for it, and I prayed for it, and whatever. And we need to get back to that joy thing. And even in the hospital, they're saying, Miss Shirley, do you have to leave? Do you have to go home? I told myself, when I get this bill from the hospital, can I send it to you for the joy and the happy day? And even there, God used me to minister to several people, to quite a few people.
While you were in the hospital?
Oh God, yes. I ministered to two.
Like one of you when you broke it.
I ministered to 2 doctors, and one of them went home. He's of a different religion, totally different from what we believe. He said, I thought about everything you said and talked about it with my wife and children. And he says, I love you. Will you give me a hug? I said, I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to keep praying for you. And I've been back twice to see them and everything. And other people came in, and they were saying, you're a miracle, you're a wonder, and telling me about things that they're going through. And it's like, oh my gosh.
You know what? I like to look at it like, God isn't finished with you yet. Shirley, she is, she's an angel. She feeds the needy. She clothes the needy. If you need a ride to your appointments or whatever, she transports the needy. Anything that anybody could stand in the need of and for, this woman is there. Like her own time. And I'm like, how do you have that much time to help so many people? And so I like to look at it like, God wasn't finished, and possibly because you made, New York Times and national news, maybe, just maybe, he wants to bring up some more others like you, so that there is this heart of compassion, so that there's this heart, this kindness, and all of that. And so for everybody to see it, will be on a worldwide platform. Everybody can see the woman that you are, what you experienced. Not many people die 3 times, but not only that, but they're trying to resuscitate for 30 minutes. Most people do have some repercussions of that, some brain damage, something like that. You have broken ribs. My goodness. So if anything, it's to show, let's have some compassion, let's have some love, and not to say that people who didn't make it, it wasn't like that, because
we have our appointed time. We have our appointed time.
But I just can't help but believe that he just said, not yet, Miss Shirley.
Not yet.
I want to show some more people, in this world that we're in right now with shootings and the babies dying and all of these things that are before us, evil and just lack of compassion and lack of love.
That's it.
Lack of love. So for you to even sing or say happy birthday to this woman, no, you know what? It's minute to be like, I'm not saved to sing happy birthday. But it's deeper than that. It's the love that you gave that woman, and so I think that could be a really good reason why he was like, no, not yet. We're going to go ahead and go a little further with this. And are y'all watching? Are you watching? Let's be the best versions of ourselves. And because this podcast is predominantly about healing, that's what we're going to talk about mostly, what a better way to heal you, for that to happen and to heal and have nothing. There is a God. There are miracles. There are wonders. It's a matter of what you believe. But I think that it's even for those who don't believe. You got to know something. You got to know, how did that happen? Somebody talk to me.
That's it.
So that's good. But all right.
But I go back again. A lot of things I do or don't do, I do it from the heart. I do it out of love. The scripture, John 3:16, for God so loved the world. Well, that includes me, you, and everybody else. And whenever, I don't care what happened, God loved me so much, he didn't care that I was laying out in the middle of the floor of the Arapahoe County courthouse, whatever. And this is really funny. My family, one of the members called me, she said, but made her cry. She said, I saw your shoes. Yes. In your hand, and that was it.
I feel you, family, because that's when I fell to my knees. Right, because I seen your feet, and you was just, you was out, that was it. Gone.
That was it.
And
it was
your
gone.
shoes. It was really sad.
And and it's just been, like that. I love people. I've always loved people. Now, I'm not bragging on me because there's nothing to brag about. But I remember the first time God used me in a loving, giving position. I was 7 years old. And where we lived back in Wisconsin, we seemed to be a family that was wealthy compared to a lot of the people. And one of my cousins didn't come to school for like 2 weeks. And I went and asked, why didn't you come to school? Because she didn't have any shoes. And I went home and got the shoes that I had and gave them to her. God didn't speak to me, whatever. But that was the first thing I remember. And that's just continued over the years. He'll place people in front of me. People will call me. Sometimes I don't even know them, particularly during the pandemic. Miss So-and-so gave me your name. Could you go pick up some orange juice or some milk? I went and got it. Sat on the porch by the door and ran. Okay? And everything doesn't cost you anything. For years I dealt with women, they've all passed away now. Elderly lived alone. And I called them every morning, even before I go to work, because old people get up early at 5 o'clock. You can call them. And just to say, you're okay? You're doing okay? And I would tell them, I said, I can't talk long. If there's an issue, I can call you later on.
Even with everything that's going on in the world and crazy, if I can't do nothing but let you cry on my shoulders, and I got big shoulders, let you cry on my shoulders or pat you on the back or pray for it's going to be all right. We have to sometimes stand in the gap and make up the hedge.
Yes.
Make up the hedge. Now, I belong to a church. We do things, their activity. I am not, don't give me a title. Don't give me a title. I'm not pastor, missionary. I don't need a title, whatever. Just doing what God wants us to do and expects us to do. And right now, I think there's been a shift. I think the spiritual realm and the natural realm, there's been a shift where we're seeing evil just try to stand up and say, I'm in charge, I'm the boss. Not on my shift. Not on my watch.
I declare and decree.
Not on my watch. No. Take your hands off of me, my family, my friends, the body of Christ, whatever. And I think people have forgotten we're in a war. We're in a war. It's a battle. A battle of good versus evil. But good is going to win. And a lot of times, I think we've watched too many episodes of the 10 Commandments on TV, the old one, where God is still fighting battles, but then maybe not opening up the Red Sea. But he opened up the Red Sea when he saved my life. Okay? He opened it up. He will be what you need him to be to you if you allow it.
Because he gives us a will.
Right. If you
don't want it.
And sometimes,
it's
not, I've had experiences and times in my life where I'd say, why God, why? Why God, why?
We've been there.
Why God, why? When God will. And he's compassionate and loves us, whatever. But some things we're never going to understand until we see him face to face. And then we see him face to face. You think any of this stuff is going to matter? Nah, it's not going to matter. But I went, when I got home, I'm going to get back to my cardiologist. They ran every kind of test. I don't want them to do any more tests on me. They ran every kind of, we can't find this. We can't find that. We don't know. We don't understand. And I told them, I said, well, the understanding is this. God still does miracles. He gave us doctors. He gave us medicine. Because how can a doctor, you get a pill? You say, oh God, my head hurts. You take a Tylenol. 15 minutes later, that Tylenol, you don't have the headache. It knew to go up to your brain. How does this know? Go to your heart, go to your brain, whatever. They are blessed. And like I say, in the last day, knowledge will even increase more. So they know how to do these things, but the power is given to them by God to keep people hear.
Yep. Amen.
And you know, because a lot of people have called me or sent me text message and email, and I usually hit delete, 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 with things like, well, if God is so good, why did he let this happen to you?
Yeah.
Some of them, I don't believe it happened. I have it at home, the report from the paramedics, the report from the sheriff's department, all my medical reports. So if anything ever comes up, I can document what I said. I don't have to add anything to it or take anything away. It was what it was.
Yeah. You know, I've experienced a lot of things, and I tell people sometimes, if I sat down and just told my whole story, and I wrote a book and all of that, and you read that, most people probably going like, come on, man.
Come on, fiction.
all that. Like, yeah, all
fiction.
that. Yeah, it has been a lot, you know what, and so I understand when you say, you know, people's like, come on, did that really happen? You know, does that kind of stuff even happen? Yes, it does. Right. And I think that when we go through things like that, it's for a purpose. It's for a purpose. That's how this whole platform is born and designed. I know that everything that I've gone through wasn't just for me to keep, and I've been there too, like, oh, come on, God, please, why me, I don't want to do this no more, like, I don't like this is too much, but it's for a purpose. And someone asked me the other day how I measured success, because sometimes people look at success being, you know, you're all over the world and you're on all these different platforms, and you know, you're on television and all of these things. And I said, you know what, if it was just one person, if it was just one person, I've already been successful. Success grows for me. But if it's just one person that it reaches and touches, and I know that that's going to happen. This hasn't even gone as far as it's going to go. And I know the lives that I've touched and blessed simply just by telling my story. You can believe it or not, that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And so I can relate to that.
I tell people, when I was reading, you start reading some of the little messages. Probably I just said, oh no, you're not getting any more of my time, of my energy, and you're not robbing or stealing my faith.
Right.
Delete, 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 delete,
yeah, that's
delete,
what you
delete.
have to do.
Now, there were a lot of them positive, you know, very good and very positive, and I got a lot of people pray for me. I did pray for them, but there is nothing. My prayer is faith-based. My prayers are not magical-based. I don't have a magic wand. Like, you know, like, okay, all your problems are going to go away. All your problems are away. You know, let's go to Disney World or whatever. And there's none of that. It's having faith in Him and believing that He's going to give you the outcome that you desire and you want.
That's
I had some yesterday talked to a minister. And he was telling me, he said, you know, my brother was really, really sick. He had cancer. And we prayed for him and we prayed for him. And he still died. Yeah. So how can you encourage me to tell me what God did? I told him this. I said, I can only tell you what God did for me. Yes. I can only tell you that He's not a respecter of persons. Come on. I also can tell you this: when people die or children die or whatever, that is our appointed time. There will become a point in time where if they had every doctor in Colorado there with me and everything, if that's my appointed time, I'm going to go. Yeah. That's why when I wake up every morning, I even have a new attitude towards life, even at my age. Yeah. Today's another day. Yeah. I'll never see before. I'll never see again. And every day is a gift. Every day is a blessing. Yes. You decide how you want to use it, because God gives us free will. Yeah. The choice is yours. You do the choice is yours. But even as a result of that, and I think about God, I think about what you did for me, Yeah. But every day now seems like a different day or a new day. I see things I've never seen before. I run into people that I've never seen before, and they say, you're the lady from TV, you're the lady from TV. And I laughed. I had the jacket, I didn't wear it today. The black and white jacket. They said, that's it. Oh, that would have been awesome. I have stopped wearing the black and white jacket. It's hanging in the closet. It's hanging in the closet. You know, I laugh. But like I say, life is different. It's not always easy. But compared to the alternative, at least you're not alone.
Yeah.
See, that's why people are like, I gotta fight this battle. I gotta get them straight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a doormat. I don't teach people because you're a believer to be a doormat.
Right. And it can be misconstrued about forgiveness.
Be meek and mild.
Yeah.
Forgiveness doesn't mean you will never think about it again.
Yeah.
It didn't mean they didn't hurt you. It just
right.
means you're going on with your life. I'm not going to let you control me or rule over me. And last Sunday in church, they said something that I've remembered for a long time. We are still letting people control us from the grave. People have been dead 30, 40, 50 years. We do that. Yeah. Every day is new day. It's a fresh day. Yeah. It's a new contract. You get a clean slate every day.
Yeah.
Now, will you mess up? Yeah. Because the other day, up here I am, I had to be careful. This guy was driving, pulling in out of traffic and whatever, and I'm yelling, "You idiot! You idiot!" Okay, idiot. That's the worst I'm going to do. Whatever. I got up to the car. Right, he was get up. Guess what he did when I got up to the light? There he is, right beside me.
Didn't go nowhere.
And I looked. He had so many Jesus bumper stickers on his car. I love Jesus, and he knew what he did wrong. Because guess what he did? He looked at me and went,
"Oh." Blew her a kiss, huh?
Like, okay, God, forgive me. We're human. We're in the flesh. If I hit you like this, you're going to hurt.
Yeah.
But what happens as believers, usually we get hit here in our heart and in our spirit.
Yes.
And sometimes, like I say, it's forgiveness. Like, I don't want to forgive.
Oh, yeah.
God, you know what they did to me. Yeah. And I didn't do nothing to them. And all I did was help them and pray for them. No. And even now, you talk about, we were talking about earlier, I bought a SUV. Mm-hmm. I bought a new car after I retired from my job. I bought an SUV. Mm-hmm. I went out and picked up the little car that I said, I just need a little car just to drive me around town. The Lord spoke to my heart. Buy an SUV. Mm-hmm. And what for, Lord? Do you know what those cost? Whatever. I was obedient. I bought it. You know why I had to have that car? I pick up the people in wheelchairs. A wheelchair won't fit in your car, but it'll fit in the trunk. Yes. Walkers won't fit in the trunk, but they'll fit in the car. Yes. And my car is big enough that they can spread out the legs and whatever. That's why. And people say,
well, thank you for your obedience. And I'm certain that they're probably grateful and thankful for that as well.
Because they can't get out. They can't get out and get in. And sometimes, like it's a nice day, I'll call and say, you want to go to the grocery store?
Yeah.
And I go get them in. Sometimes they're in the wheelchair. We get them in, and we go for a ride around town, and they get out. That's ministry to me.
Yes,
ministry doesn't always have to be the women's group from your church or the men's group
doing in the pulpit.
God opens up opportunities all the time for us to bless. I can't save everybody. I can't help everybody. If I had the money of Elon Musk and Oprah and all of them and LeBron James, you can do more. But till you get to that point, sometimes it's like I've seen a little kid in Dollar Tree and his mama doesn't have the money. Give him $1 so he can buy that candy bar. Give it in Jesus' name, a girl, and you walk on out there blessed. You feel just as good as Oprah probably feels when she gave everybody a car.
I like that. When you talk about, waking up and it's a new day and that it's a day that you haven't seen before, and because you died. Right, we're supposed to die to self daily, right? So every day should be different, right? So you are died 3 times and came back. It better be different. It's gonna be different for you.
It's gonna be different. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. And I'm more intentional about. Okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. I've had a couple of people since this happened. They were mean to me and cruel to me, and I forgave them. Yes. But now I tell you this, I did not call them. Okay. Because I know they get mad at me. Because sometimes that old flesh will resurrect itself.
Honey, you ain't
but I wrote them a long, long letter. One of them was an 8-page long letter.
Honey.
But I got it all off of my chest and this and that. Left it alone. Didn't hear from the person for about 2 or 3 weeks. Got a call from them Monday. It's like, I don't recognize the number on call ID. I'm not going to take the call. But I recognized the area code, and I said, oh, now here we go. I'm flesh and blood human. Sometimes that old man resurrect.
Yeah.
Then my mind said, she know what she did to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I left it alone.
Yeah.
I called her. And by the time we finished talking, I could not talk. I was hoarse. I could not talk. My eyes were so swollen, red. I cried because she told me everything she has been through since that time. And I tell you one thing, I didn't know what she was going through during that time.
Yeah.
And she began to tell me, and it's like, oh my God.
We never know what people are going through.
God is using us if we allow Him to.
Yeah.
He, like I said, He is, like, when I was the paramedics and everything, you're angels with skin that people could see, but you have invisible wings. I don't worship angels or anything else. God uses people. He uses ordinary people. He uses our hands, our feet, our mouth, and our eyes. Now, He can do everything supernaturally, send an angel every time, and God, I don't have any food, and the food would food would appear. I believe He can do things like that and see things. But it's not always that way.
Right.
And the thing we don't like the most is when He says, wait. Or if He doesn't say wait, He's silent. And that's the part I have. Say something, God. Say something. And what was really funny, you'll love this. When I was in the hospital, the neurologist came in to check my head. And he was asking questions like, do you know what today is? And who's the president of the United States? What city are you in? And everything. And, and I'm laughing. And I don't know, something came across and I said, well, God spoke to me and talked to me. And He said, well, maybe we need to run some further testing if you're hearing voices. If you're hearing voices and you think they're God. And I looked at him and I laughed. I wasn't mean to him, whatever. By the time I finished it, I was telling him, God still speaks and talks if we listen.
Yeah.
And I said, have you never had an encounter where, I said, it doesn't have to be like you're driving down the street and something, I use that word, will say, don't go down that street.
Right.
Something will say, don't go there today. I said, that's the voice of God often speaking. But you've watched too much of the 10 Commandments where you hear Moses, that kind of stuff. And the, movies. It's just like talking about how people perceive what happened to me. The number one question I get from everybody, did you see the light? Did you see the bright light?
Right.
Did you see Jesus? Some of them ask me, did you see hell? I don't have anything to do with hell. I don't need to see it.
Right.
I don't have anything to do with that. I didn't see any of it. So they try to take away from the experience. But I always tell them, I got paperwork. Not that you need paper. I got paperwork that says I died. I got paperwork that said I had no pulse. I have paperwork that said I wasn't breathing. I have witnesses. I said the district attorney of Arapahoe County, who was a doctor who's now a lawyer. Why would I make this up? Right. I got another email from somebody. Oh, we know what you're going to do. You're going to write a book and be on all the religious TV stations. No, I'm not. Yeah. I got a whole witness field out there of people lost, dying, and on their way to hell. Or not living the productive life here as believers that we should be doing. We're underestimating God and stuff like that. I don't need to write a book. I have a harvest field. If I want to go out there, I can witness to more people than the biggest church here in Denver. Okay?
So how are you feeling now that we're months later? How are you feeling?
I feel good, awesome, wonderful. I feel like I felt, and people think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. Other than the little rib thing, I feel like I did when I was 20, 25 years ago. I did. Because to me, age is a state of mind kind of thing. And you do what you need to do. I sometimes have my little aches and pains.
Of course.
But it's good. My mind is good. My health is good. And my family calls me early in the morning because they know I'm gone by 8 or 9 o'clock and get home. One of the things I have learned, though, through this process, I always say, I'm independent, I'm free, I can take care of myself.
Yeah.
I've had to
A lot of us
learn
do.
to ask for help, and I will.
Come on.
I have a godson and his mother who have just been, I cannot even tell you how awesome they've been. When I first came home, I'd have something like, something needs to be lifted and I had to wait. I could call them. My neighbors, if you need anything, if you want anything, here's my phone number, here's my address. You know, that was it. And, you know, as you get older, it's not like you were when you were 18.
Yeah.
But I feel wonderful. Spiritually, I feel wonderful.
Good.
Physically, I feel wonderful. Mentally, I feel wonderful. Financially, I feel wonderful.
Come on.
Okay? Okay? Hey,
all around wealth.
Until I get all the hospital bills. I don't worry about that, you know, because I got one the other day. It's like, okay, threw it in the drawer. Because how much can you put a price on a life?
Yeah, you can't.
Put a price on a life.
Keep it coming.
And if you can't afford it, can't do it, call the hospital and tell them. I know this thing said, I don't have the money, don't have the fund. They can reduce the bill, and sometimes based on your income, they'll say, we'll eliminate it. But that's I always tell people, knowledge is power. We need to learn some things naturally, like what benefits are out there, what can you get, what are the requirements,
absolutely,
and everything.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah. Well, I'm so blessed to be in your presence. You know, it's not. You know, we make light of it because you know you just do and you have to. But I've never been around someone who's died and been back and is healthy and in their right mind and sound judgment and I'm already a believer, so I know, but it's just so it's an honor, and I am grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your life. I'm grateful for your trial, and your testimony. And I do believe, without a doubt, that your testimony is great, and it's gonna help somebody else. I think that there's somebody out there who's
just one person.
If it's just one person, that's all it takes.
Just one.
Somebody out there that's feeling hopeless, or somebody out there who just doesn't know how they're gonna make it through the day and through the night. I mean, you can just hear your story. You know, we all have our little aches and pains. Right. I was troubled with some things just a couple of days ago, but when you hear your story, it's just like it's all good. We good. You know what? It's all. Let me drink this water.
That's it.
So yeah, what a blessing. I appreciate you.
Thank you, honey.
I look forward to many more years. I don't know how long he's gonna allow this time, but I'm gonna take every moment that I get. And so we'll stay in contact with one another for sure. If it's anything that you would leave our audience with or would want to say to them, what would you say?
Keep the faith and pray. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. God is still God. He's still doing great, wonderful, and mighty things that we don't even know about. Also, I just want to add this. My story may not be your story.
That's right.
You may have a greater story.
That's right.
You maybe did not get the outcome that I received. But what's important is this: every day He gives us hope.
Yes.
Every day is a new day. Believe God, trust Him, pray, study His Word. Have confessions, that's a whole different. Confessing what you believe God will do for you. Don't underestimate it. Also, don't get caught up in the fear of this world every time you read the newspaper or turn on the TV and whatever. Yeah. God is still in charge and in control. And if I had 10,000 tongues, I could not thank Him for what He did for me. I can't say, well, I've had a pain and I prayed and God, did that for me. I had nothing to do with it. I had to take my hands off of the situation. That's right. But I'm so thankful that somebody somewhere prayed for me.
Yes.
Somebody with a song had me on their mind. They took the time to pray for me.
Yes.
I'm not perfect. I'm not any better than anybody else.
That's right.
I'm not any more spiritual or look what I do and whatever. I'm in God's hands, and I'm committed to that. And I'm also committed to there's some areas I'm just going to confess I could be better in.
Yes.
I could do better in.
Yes, we all can.
And that is my goal until I take my final breath here, is to try to live for him the best that I can, do what he wants me to do, keep on loving folks, keep on loving folks and whatever. And it's been such a pleasure when you called and said, could you come? And to be honest with first, I said, don't nobody want to hear about this, because they watch enough TV and Netflix or whatever. These people who come back from the dead and nobody wants to hear that and whatever. And it's like, okay, well, I'll step out on faith and do it. And then after you call, that's when I start running to people in the stores and this, and we saw you. Would you tell me your testimony? What really happened? Because you only got a short
you only get a short window.
What really happened? And can I touch you and whatever? And one day I had the police report, and I showed it to this lady, and she says, "I believe God's going to do something good for me." If that sparked her faith, so be it. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
I'm here for you if you ever need me. And I pray that this is just the beginning for you. This is going to be blessings and blessings.
I receive that.
You're going to be blessed with more blessings, exceeding and abundantly more than you can ask or think.
I receive that.